Hello Homebrew Academy, my name is Jason James and I'm here to talk about probably the most exciting product that I've seen come out on the homebrew market. Now when I started getting into brewing, I obviously was excited about making my own beer and people enjoying it, but I'm kind of strange in the way that I like to give it out to people. I would bottle my beer, I'd put labels on it, I'd even make like little 6-pack holders, and I'd give it out to people as gifts and just see how people like it. And it just, I don't know, there's something about that I really liked. That it was something about home brewing and that aspect of it that I really enjoyed. Now, when you get into home brewing that bottling is terrible. I mean, bottles are heavy, they can break, they take up a lot of room, and it's just, there's something I just don't like about them, and I kind of got out of bottling because of that. I started giving people beers and growlers more often now, just because, again, I didn't feel like bottling anymore. But I always thought to myself, what if you could get a canner? I looked into like mobile canning, companies would come and can your homebrew. I also looked at even like canning lines themselves, like small ones they had, and just thought about like maybe I could have like friends of us all get in, a bunch of homebrewers get in, and we can actually buy it and we can then can our beer. Recently, a company called Oktober has put out a canner on the homebrew scale. It's very small. They also sell you cans in, instead of like a huge pallet, you can buy about 5 cases at a time, and they're very reasonable. They're about anywhere between like 35 cents to 45 cents, a can. When I actually put some pictures of this out online, I had a bunch of people that responded with something like, why would you, can your beer? You're going to cause all these issues with the environment. You're throwing that in waste. And, I can reuse my bottles. You can't reuse your cans, which is true. But I also live in New Jersey. And, New Jersey, the law is for us to recycle. So I have to recycle the cans regardless. But anyway, so I'll show you a quick little video of me using it, and then I'll talk to you about, my impression of it.
Alright, so here's the canner. So there's an adapter, and it lets you go from a 12 ounce to a 16 ounce, but I actually canned up a 16 ounce beer. So you can see what you do is you put it on your little base plate at the bottom, and there's a lever at the bottom that's going to push it up, and once you turn the motor on, it's going to spin the can so you can seal it. So I turn on the canner motor. On the right side is the sealer, so I hit that first. And then on the left side is the finisher. And you can see when we're done, turn it off, and we got a nice sealed can.
Alright, so let me talk about the pros and cons of the canner. I'm going to start off first with the cons. One is the price of it. Obviously $1,500 is out of a lot of people's budget in terms of like buying something for themselves for a homebrew level. You could actually go in with a couple people with this, or if you have a brew club. I showed it to some brew club members, and they're talking about actually other guys they want to all chip in together and get one, maybe even for the club that people can then just borrow at some point. But again, it's a really well made piece of machinery. That was the biggest thing I thought when I got it. I didn't feel like there was anything that was going to break down. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts in this machine, but overall, I just thought it was made really well. The next thing is that it didn't come with a manual on how to do it, an operation manual. I found out later that they actually emailed it to me. And the reason why that's kind of a big deal is I was actually using it wrong. There's a way to do it where you do the right side first, which actually seals it, and the left side then kind of finishes the seal. I didn't really know that at first. I just kind of was, going back and forth, and it would put the can on, put the lid on, which is fine. But the issue was that it wouldn't have a good seal. Now, this is actually what the cans look like. You just get your blank can, and then it comes with a lid on top. So, it came, I think I got 144 of these for somewhere around, I think, $70. And then again, it came with the lids. And they actually threw in some of the can tops, the carriers that you see, craft breweries have, which is fantastic as well. Now, just like I said, because the manual, I didn't know about it, I thought there was something wrong with it. And this goes really into my first pro of it, which is their customer service is fantastic. I don't know if you've dealt with some other companies for customer service for homebrew. Some are good, some are bad. These guys are amazing. They're not only their customer service rep talked to me when we first got it, but the owner of the company who designed it kind of, was emailing me and talking about it, and I hope you like it. If you have any questions, let me know. When I was sealing cans and they weren't sealing correctly and it was kind of leaking, I also sealed some and I sent home with friends that came over my house, and they had the plastic tops on, and they actually ripped the top of it off. And my buddy sends me a text saying, "What's up with this?" And I felt almost like embarrassed by it. And then also he sent me a message saying that the beer was flat. He said after 3 or 4 days he tried to open one up and the beer was completely flat, which again told me that the seal wasn't correct on there. I emailed the same thing, customer service guy, also the owner of the company. They both responded within 10 minutes. They, telling me basically what I was doing wrong. They sent me out another manual, and they actually talked about, they're probably going to change the way they get the manual out to people instead of emailing it to them. Another pro, the weight of cans is ridiculously lighter and doesn't take up as much room as bottles. I mean, for example, this is 5 cases. Can you imagine taking 5 cases of bottles and that easily pick it up? So they're fantastic. And again, it's a pretty small size box that's holding all these cans together. So I just want to talk about the seal. So again, there was issues with the seal, and it was operator error. It was the way that I was doing it. But once I found out the correct way, I took a can and I actually filled it right off the top of my kegerator, all right, and I sealed it. Now, I know that's not, the best way you can do it. Obviously, it's gonna, over time, it's gonna be oxidized a little bit because I didn't purge any the oxygen out. And it's also gonna probably lose some carbonation over time. But again, I want to see how the actual seal was. I talked to them about can conditioning, just like you'd bottle condition, put priming sugar in it and just carbonate it right in the can. And they said they've had some great success with that as well. I also bought a Blickman beer gun so I can purge the oxygen and then with CO2 and then fill it from there. But I haven't done that yet. But I just wanted to do a little bit of an experiment where I took a can and I filled it with the beer and I let it sit for a week, and I want to see how the carbonation is. So this would be kind of like a final result to see, is the canner worth the money, and is the canner a really great product? So here it is. This is again, it's Belgian wheat that I made, and we're gonna open it. Oh, that's a good sound. All right. Looked at the carbonation, still is great there. Oh yeah, perfect. So, like I said, if you can, afford it or even go in with a couple buddies, this is hands down probably one of the coolest, toys, homebrew toys that I've seen. Again, this upcoming Christmas, I'm going to be able to give out cans of beers to people in 4-packs, 16-ounce 4-packs, which again to me is just really cool. I'm also a big beach guy, so being able to can my beer and bring it to the beach is a lot easier than having it in a bottle or let's say a growler. So I highly recommend it. Take a look at their website. Like I said, you can ask them any questions, they'll get right back to you. And happy holidays. Cheers.